What's going on, everybody? 2-minute drill. We got Ben, we got Cole, we got Collin. Of course, it's your boy Tyler. We're all back. Episode 4, 2-minute drill. Going to try to stick to one episode each week from here on out. We're going to do NCAA review, NFL review. Going to do bets from both. Just going to kind of kick it off and go from there. We do have to address, however, one small endeavor before we dive into the content of today's podcast. So, if any of you saw episode 3, it was a two-man special with me and Mr. Cole.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, we said a couple of things at the beginning of that podcast talking about how Collin was supposed to, quote unquote, shave his head because of the Vanderbilt loss. As you can see, he is wearing a toboggan, a beanie, what have you it. And his hair is still there. It is not shaved.
Show him.
So,
show him.
We have decided to go lenient. We have decided to go lenient on Mr. Collin, and we have a wheel that we will spin right now. And I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see it, but it says there's 4 choices on this wheel. So he will have to do these punishment live next week on our recording of next week's episode, no matter what. No matter what. So
well, we're kicking him.
The choices are eat raw eggs, the cinnamon challenge, the Kylie Jenner lip challenge, or he has to do TikTok dances on our TikTok account that we have up right now until we get 100 likes. Followers, likes, whatever.
I don't think we should do followers, dude. I'm going to be there for like 10 hours.
Bro, doing you a favor.
All right.
Be gracious.
Okay. All right. We're going to get it kicked off with this. And so I'm going to spin it. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to do anything. It's spinning right now for everybody that can see.
It was exaggerated when I said I was going to shave my head. I can't see it, to be honest. Cinnamon.
Cinnamon challenge.
Dude,
okay.
Go do it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Go do it right now.
All right. Okay. Well, then even better. We can do the cinnamon challenge. Just kick off this episode real quick.
Go, bro.
Give me 5 seconds.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get this up.
Take the camera with you.
Dude, you better be
I'll
lucky.
bring it in here. Hold up.
You better be lucky it wasn't TikTok dances. That crap would have been so funny.
Oh, my gosh. We would have made him.
Vote.
We'd have made him hit the Renegade and throwback to all those old school 2020 dances.
You think he throws up?
I hope. Well, I don't want him to die. I hope he doesn't breathe it in and die.
You know, Colin's got a weak stomach.
If he throws up, I'm done. If he throws up, I'm done. That's hilarious.
We'll have to end it, bro.
No, he won't. We'll keep going.
He's not going to throw up and keep it moving.
Oh, my gosh. I kind of wish it would have been the
Does he even know
eggs.
what he's doing?
No, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's Collin.
Well, he did tell people.
Oh,
holy crap!
For those of you who cannot see, Mr. Collin has entered back in the chat with cinnamon and spoon in hand.
And a water.
And a water.
Have y'all ever done this before? What should I be prepared for?
Don't breathe. I'm being so serious right now. Don't breathe.
Enjoy that water. It might be the last one. No, it'll be good.
Great value brown cinnamon, baby.
It's probably like 90% plastic. You're good.
That's all. It doesn't matter. Hey, at least you don't have to shave your head anymore. That's a plus.
I have been battling COVID. I've been in the trenches this week.
Oh my god!
You may not need to do the cinnamon challenge if you've been battling COVID, there, little buddy.
I'm a man.
It's okay. We can swap it to TikTok dances.
All right, Colin, you can forfeit this and automatically have to do TikTok dances. This is your last chance.
Nah, pass.
Oh,
I'd rather joke.
okay.
What?
For those of you listening at home, cinnamon is now metal. It is in spoon, awaiting.
Let's see how much.
Awaiting.
Let's see how much cinnamon.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Let's see it.
Okay. Here we go, folks.
So don't
Five.
breathe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. He has done it, people. He has done it. Oh my God. Spit it out. Spit it out.
He's gonna
Colin?
throw up.
You okay?
Oh my God.
You okay?
Bro, cut the camera, please.
I ain't got a napkin, bro.
I'm gonna cut you just for a second and let you gather yourself, okay? All right, boys. So enough of that. At least we punished him. That's out of the way. We'll get started with a little bit of our content here. So we got the funny
my
games
Lord.
over with. So we got a little NCAA recap to kick off. Obviously, this week was a great week of college football. These are just the biggest three that we're going to try to cover in a quick amount of time tonight. You had LSU, Ole Miss go to overtime, Oregon and Ohio State. That was just an instant classic in the new Big Ten. A little scary, Alabama versus South Carolina. But it is the SEC, so anything can happen week in and week out. And then obviously you had a matchup between Florida and Tennessee that came down to the wire. And then there was just so many other games. But these three are the ones that we're going to have to hit this week. So we'll kick it off with LSU and Ole Miss. So LSU came into this game 4-1. Garrett Nussmeier, who is average, had another average night, but I don't think he's terrible. I think their game plan of attack, and I'll go on further into this later. They were wanting to attack them deep. Brian Kelly went into this game. He was 13-0 in night games at home. He defended that streak, and he is now 14-0 in night games at home at Death Valley. So pretty good streak there. Ole Miss. So I don't know if y'all had heard about this controversy with Ole Miss or not. Have y'all heard about it?
About the injuries?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
controversy going on. There was a segment on Game Day about this where they were talking about maybe in the future making it some sort of penalty if it does get caught to where they're catching signals on the sideline. Welcome back, Colin. So there was 29. So previous to the Ole Miss LSU game, there was 29 stoppages in gameplay by Ole Miss players who were hurt in the last 3 games before the Ole Miss and LSU game. 29 stoppages. I don't know if y'all know. I mean, that's crazy. That's an absurd amount. I mean, so what do y'all think about that? Like, do you think there should be a penalty? Do you think there should be some sort of punishment for the coaches?
What are we talking about?
You said that's 29 times in 3 games.
Yeah, 29 stoppages in 3 games.
We're talking about the
That's almost
the
10
injury controversy with
stoppages.
Ole Miss. That's about 9.5 stoppages a game due to fake
Injuries,
injury.
play after play after play.
The problem with it is you cannot. I don't think you can make it a penalty because then the refs
It's
get
just-
wrapped up in it. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know if you heard Pat talking about it. He was basically saying like, then the referees like, what happens if they call a flag and the person's actually hurt? Then you feel like a jerk. Like you
Yeah.
can't. Like,
And
are we
it's-
gonna trust the referees even more than we already do? Like, we already put them in one of the hardest positions in like ever. So
And that's the hard part about it is there's no way that you can prove, that a player's faking it in any sort of way. I mean, you can't because it's subjective. I mean, it's not an objective thing to where it's dead set. But it hurts the integrity of the game, and I think that if Lane is doing this, he needs to stop. I mean, because you're essentially taking the integrity of the game and using it in a bad way, like non-integritous, basically. But coming into the game, what is Ole Miss known for? Their offense. I mean, so throughout Lane's tenure, he has had the best offense in the country every year in terms of production. His average is 507 yards of offense per game. That's wild.
That's way more than I thought it would be for some reason.
That's crazy. So last year against LSU in Oxford when they played this game, Ole Miss put up 706 yards of total offense in a 55-49 shootout. How about that?
That's insane.
That's high powered.
You know how hard it is to have. What did Coach Moore say back in the day? He said an elite offense puts up 400 yards of offense a game.
400 yards of offense, and you're elite. 706 in a single game. Think about that. That's 7 110s of total offensive yards. That's crazy. So this year, flip the roles a little bit. I think we see just how much Brian Kelly has improved LSU's defense. This defense is legit. So their MO, they pressure and they blitz about 50% of all their defensive plays. So they're bringing a guy. They're going to pressure you at every chance that they get. They sacked Jackson Dart 6 times. They contained Dart in the pocket, and they forced him to throw, and he actually did throw an interception, and he caused him to they forced a fumble on him. They held Ole Miss to below their scoring average coming in, which is 44 points a game this year. So they're well below that average with 26 points in this loss. I think that when you look at that and you see improvement from this year to next year, I mean, do you think that LSU is a legitimate playoff contender this year?
I do, personally. Just because you kept talking about LSU or Ole Miss's offense, dude, going into the game, Ole Miss led the nation in sacks with 24. They were number 1 in sacks. They had 0 sacks against LSU. So LSU's offensive line, and if they can get the offense clicking as well as the defense, bro, I think they can play with anybody in the country.
And that was another thing is that LSU's offensive line has improved because I don't think Nussmeier got sacked. Like you said, he didn't get sacked at all. And now I know Nussmeier's productivity was not the greatest, but if you look at the level of throws that he was having to make, that was their game plan. They wanted to attack Ole Miss deep, and so he was 22 or 51 with only a 43% completion rate. But when it mattered the most, he hit the deep ball. It's kind of crazy. Like they only threw like long vertical balls. There were hardly any short mesh concepts or anything like that. But Nussmeier's last 2 touchdowns that he had were on his last 2 touches of the football.
That's crazy.
I know. It was the touchdown pass to Aaron Anderson that ended the game and sent it to overtime, and then the throwback pass or the back shoulder throw to Kyron Lacey in overtime. And that was his last 2 touches of the football. So, and I think their offense, is not their highest, perk right now. Obviously, their defense is way better. But I think their offense is only going to get better because you got a couple guys who are hurt. I mean, you got C.J. Daniels, who is been one of their deep ball threats, before he got hurt. And he's going to be back soon at wide receiver. So,
yeah, I mean, I think being able to lean on the defense a little bit, definitely helps them out a lot.
Oh yeah.
Well, this was the start of kind of a little gauntlet that LSU's got going on. They just went Ole Miss, then they got to play against Arkansas away, which Arkansas ain't no slouch this year.
No,
and then they go
Arkansas
on
at
the road,
home.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, Arkansas at home. I figure it'll be. I'm hoping it'll be a decent matchup. if they
What's funny, Colin?
if they if they go into the game with a good enough game plan to where they can stop, deep passes from Nussmeier and they pressure Nussmeier and they can actually get him sacked, then I don't think that it'll be a high scoring game just like this one. But
Agreed.
y'all are idiots. Y'all are idiots.
I'm sorry. Colin's talking crazy in the chat right now.
No, I'm not. You started this conversation.
All right.
Just for the
Tyler, continue. These
So,
idiots.
yeah,
on now.
continue.
So-
Ben's just throwing everybody off.
So our next game that we want to
Get
into
together,
is the
Cinnamon Boy.
Oregon. The next game we want to get into is the Oregon and Ohio State game. Two touted teams. I mean, this was one of the greatest games of the year, up there with Georgia and Alabama. I mean, this was just a gauntlet of a game. I mean, it was just throwing bows left and right, and it was amazing. Right down to the last second, literally the last second. So coming into the game, Ohio State was actually favored, and I had picked them last week to win just because I thought their secondary was better than what they showed to be. Dylan Gabriel obviously proved me wrong. So Dylan Gabriel was 23 for 34. He had a 68% completion rate with 341 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Pretty good little stat line there. They had 496 total yards of offense. Jordan James had 23 carries for Oregon, 115 yards and a touchdown. And then they had, 2 high-touted receivers, Evan Stewart and Tez Johnson, both scoring a tutty. Tez Johnson, 7 receptions, 75 yards. Ohio State, on the other hand, I mean, this was just an offensive game. Will Howard went 28 for 35 with 80% completion rate. I mean, that is 80% completion rate by any Division I quarterback is amazing. He threw for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then obviously we know on the receiving end of most of that yardages was Jeremiah Smith. 9 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown as a freshman on the road in Autzen Stadium in Oregon. Just the guy's legit. I mean, no one-handed catches this week, but he made some pretty freaking good plays.
I would say he's held over that already. Is that his one-handed catches and stuff? But
yeah, I know.
I would say Dylan Gabriel definitely surprised me. Like I don't know what I was thinking, but I was not a fan before, but I am now.
I thought he was overrated just because Oregon hadn't necessarily played anybody, but neither had Ohio State really. I mean,
Yeah.
So I thought this was going to be the first true test for both of these teams to see where they're at, how well their game plan or how well they practice and prepared for these games. I thought Ohio State's game plan was good offensively. They did some new things, doing some wrinkles. They spread out the linebackers and hit tight ends down the seam some. I mean, offensively, they did just about a heck of a job. I mean, it literally maybe 1 or 2 plays cost them the game.
Yeah.
So, but defensively,
Oregon definitely won me some money this week. Going into the game, I think you could get Oregon for the money line at like plus 150, and everybody was counting Oregon and Dylan Gabriel out. And Will Howard played a heck of a game up until that very, very last play with that scramble. That was a boneheaded move, dude.
You could see it on his face too. He was like, "What am I doing?" Like you could tell he just made the wrong decision.
oh yeah, and I'll get into it in just a second. But defensively, I don't think OSU's game plan was very great. Typically, what they like to do is they like to confuse quarterbacks, and I think coming in they wanted to try and confuse Dylan Gabriel, and this is why I'm giving Dylan Gabriel even more credit. What Ohio State and Ryan Day like to do defensively is they like to go cover 0 pre-snap, and then right before pre-snap, after the quarterback does his checks, they bail out into cover 2, so this throws off the quarterback. If you get a quarterback who looks up pre-snap, takes his read, okay, I got 0 coverage, got a man beater right here, looks down, takes a snap, looks up to throw, oh snap, it's cover 2. That throws off all of your timing. That can mess up some of the receivers' routes and stuff like that. So you saw some of that with Caleb Downs and I forgot their other safety's name. But I didn't see Ohio State pressure much. And I don't really think that they got as much pressure on Dylan Gabriel because Dylan Gabriel had 0 sacks, and Will Howard was sacked 1 time. So both O-line groups, I mean, they did an immaculate job. Both quarterbacks, it seemed like, had plenty of time passing in the pocket. I just don't think that Ohio State kind of pressured and put Dylan Gabriel on his heels much. I mean,
Oregon did a fantastic job running the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
They really did.
So, Dan Lanning was 0-3 as an underdog at home. He came into this game an underdog as a 3-point underdog. He is now 1-3. So, what do y'all think about the 12-man illegal substitution right before the Will Howard debacle?
Do you think that was pre-calculated?
If it is, Dan Lanning might be the smartest man in college football.
There is no way.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if it was, premeditated or.
Why the heck would he do that?
Think about it. It's 3rd and long, right? Or the 2nd and long, or something like that, and you've got 10 seconds on the clock, and they have to throw it deep because I think it was like I want to say it was 2nd and 25 or something like that.
They were trying to get into field goal range.
They were trying to get into field goal range. Well, here's the thing. You throw in an extra defender on the field to make sure that they can't throw it, and you have an extra defender on another guy. Well, you sacrifice 5 yards, but with that certain penalty, it's a live ball foul, meaning that after the play, the clock has to continue running, the game clock. So there's not a 10-second runoff. The play clock just starts at the whistle, and Ohio State didn't realize it, and so that's why 4 seconds came off the clock, and then there was only 6 seconds left, only time for one play. And now Ohio State still had a timeout, but by the time that Will Howard had slid, it was too late. He had held the ball too long.
Dude,
so if it was very calculated. It was insane.
It's hard for me to believe that a D1 coach would purposely do that to let that happen.
Well, if he's giving up in hindsight, he's giving up 5 yards instead of giving up a deep ball. Because at that point they're still at a field goal range.
Yeah, but that sounds great.
Even with a 5-yard penalty.
That sounds great to us, but when you're on the field, you're not. I don't think you're thinking about any of that crap. Now, did somebody in the box? Somebody in the box be like, "Hey, bro, dude, send another one out there." Maybe, but I don't think he's sticking to that. There ain't no way, dude.
I think they had a Connor Stallions out there that's just some graduate, and they're just like, "Hey, send somebody out there." There's somebody that's looking at all aspects of the game.
I guess you're right. But
so with that game, there's only 3 teams that are left undefeated in the Big Ten. Oregon is 6-0, Penn State 6-0, and Indiana is 6-0.
I love Indy, bro. That coach down there is a winner. He said when he was going, we're getting into something else. I don't mean to go off.
No,
but he had an interview at the very end of the game, and they was asking him bro, you're bringing Indiana to their first undefeated season in God knows how long, and he was like, I win. Google me. And I was like, bro, that's my guy.
Did he say that for real?
He said that. He said, Google me, then walked off.
We need to find a clip of that, dude. I want to see it.
It was great.
I don't think it's going to last long, though. I mean, they've got Nebraska this Saturday, Washington the next Saturday. November 2nd, they have Michigan State, which they probably could win. Then they have Michigan at home, and then they have to travel to Ohio State. So,
imagine.
I don't know.
Imagine. Just imagine.
They're missing
Did y'all know
Father
Andy was
Caleb.
going to beat them?
So,
did y'all know that South Carolina was going to lose to Alabama by 2? Anything
speaking
can
of
happen.
that, anything can happen. But with you bringing up South Carolina, I guess we'll move to the main one, the main college one that we all want to talk about is Bama versus South Carolina. Not our best showing, but it is the SEC where anything can happen week in and week out, and you just have to win. It's the SEC. And so for any Bama fan out there who says, oh, I count this as a loss, leave. It's a win. This is the SEC. You will get everyone's best game. Milroe had a subpar game. Our defensive play calling was subpar, and we still found a way to win when it mattered. So a win is a win, and I'm a firm believer in that.
It was one thing that I've hated. Me and Tyler were talking about this. I have thoroughly hated being on Facebook since Saturday. Seeing all the just, oh, we suck. We're terrible. Like, dude, we weren't great last year. Okay, we weren't just the best team in the nation.
It's like these so-called Bama fans, and I know we're a young Bama fan, but I'm a realist. I know we're not going to always be absolutely playing joyless murder ball and beating people by 50 every week. It's football. It's college football. This is the reason. No, we did not. No, we did not. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, but it was a 24-20 game that we almost lost to Texas A&M at home. I mean, it came down to the last play when Terrion Arnold batted it down.
Texas A&M's 10 times better than South Carolina.
Oh, he's one of those. See, he's one of them. He's here. He's infiltrated us. You sentiment-loving weirdo.
Wow.
Nick Saban would have had those boys come out at halftime and drop 35 points.
No,
it's a different game.
Wouldn't have, bro.
No, he wouldn't have.
It's just different. Like, we're so used to Nick Saban that now that he's gone, we just think, oh, we're going to be the same team. We're going to be. It doesn't work that way. It's a different team. The culture's going to be different.
We're not used to these games coming down to the wire, bro.
Because for the past 20 years, Nick Saban has carried Vanderbilt and South Carolina on a little leash. They've never stood a chance when Nick Saban was there.
The NIL, even the playing field
2010, South Carolina. They almost beat us at South Carolina. I don't know if you remember that. You would have known if you were on the episode last week.
14 years ago?
We were 9 years old.
Nick Saban was still the head coach.
At that point, he was, 3 years in? When
Nick Saban had already won a national championship. Bro, there's
a couple weeks ago, we talked about what was the appropriate amount of time to rebuild a football team. And Colin, what did you say? 3 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's rebuilding?
What are you
We're
talking
rebuilding?
About?
You think Alabama's rebuilding?
In 2010, yeah. From 2007 to 2010, yeah.
No. Oh, I thought you were talking about right now. Kalen DeBoer has literally walked into the pearly gates and has been handed the keys to the greatest program in NCAA and has single-handedly almost burnt it to the ground the past 2 weeks.
No, he has not. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? How has he almost burned it down to the ground? We're 5-1. We are 5-1. We could Auburn 2-4 with a second-year head coach. What are you talking about?
Vanderbilt,
bro. Open your eyes and look at the facts. They will win 7 games. Vanderbilt is not good. They inherited transfers and an offensive coordinator who was those transfers' head coach. They have mutual connection and they have played with each other. Vanderbilt is good. They just beat a Kentucky team who beat the number 5 Ole Miss team on the road. And you want to tell me that Vanderbilt's bad? What are you smoking?
Take a deep breath.
What are you smoking? Bro, you're talking nonsense.
No, bro.
See, Colin's response.
This is not the Alabama that anybody used to see.
Okay, this is not the Alabama. This is not Nick Saban's team. This is a new era of college football. You can't expect to go out there and.
Colin, are you a fan or are you a hater?
I'm a realist.
No, he misses Nick Saban.
But
I call it as I see
that's
it.
okay. You can miss Nick Saban, but if you're a fan, you'll actually root for the people who are here now.
Okay, So you're saying winning a game by one possession is bad, right? Winning a game by one possession because it was a one possession game is bad. Okay, and you're saying that because it was Kalen DeBoer and he won by one possession that he's no Nick Saban, right? Okay. December 19th, 2020, Alabama versus Florida in the SEC Championship. Nick Saban, the head coach, 52-46, one possession game. Let's see. Time out, good sir. The next season, Nick Saban as your head coach, right? On the road at Florida. Florida should have beat us that game due to poor clock management. We won 31-29. That was September 18th, 2021. Let's see.
not
Let's
Vanderbilt, or at Florida, not Vanderbilt.
No, we're not talking about Vanderbilt. You said South Carolina. You said it was pathetic that we had lost to twice with South Carolina.
So you're telling me South Carolina and Florida are on the same stage?
Look at their records, dude. Do you even watch football?
All right, now I'm talking about Florida when we played that year. You're telling me that Florida is even close to either Vanderbilt or South Carolina?
Yes, they're both mid-tier SEC schools. Yes, I am.
No.
Yeah, dude. Bro,
No.
bro, what are you?
Ask Collin why, because I'm not sure he can tell you.
Why? Yeah. Why? I've been given facts. For my side, what would you have to say for your argument?
You said the year was 2021.
If Kalen DeBoer next week goes into Tennessee,
No, I'm not talking about next week. I'm talking about why this week did you say that he is burning it to the ground when we are 5-1 and we've won by one possession? And you said, "Oh, it's not Nick Saban. We've been blowing people out." Nick Saban had plenty of one possession wins under his belt. I mean, LSU versus Alabama, we were number 2. They were unranked. It was a home game. It was 20-14 in 2021, and that was under Nick Saban. What do you mean? No, it's one possession ball game, 6 points.
Look at the program as a whole and tell me that it's the same as when Nick Saban was there.
I didn't say the program. I'm saying that everyone that is saying that, oh, we're not as dominant. We're not. This is the SEC.
Because we're not. We're not. You're telling me,
you're smoking.
Okay, for one of the biggest changes that we had, bro, there should be one face of the program. Every single time that anybody asked any questions, it was strictly going to Nick Saban. He gave an answer. There was no like, okay, we're going to talk to the coordinators. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Bro, we've got Womack up there giving daggum press conferences.
What? Okay. He's a coach, bro.
Womack, we should have left Womack in Nashville when we played Vanderbilt for one. He should have never been hired as the defensive coordinator for Alabama. That's number one.
Do you think that when Golding was there, he didn't have press conferences every Monday?
I would rather take Pete Golden than Womack.
I'm just saying. Do you not think that Pete Golding had press conferences at his time in Alabama?
But that's not what I mean. It's taken out of context, bro. I'm telling you, bro. When
I'm keeping it within the context of how you are putting it out for the people to hear.
This is the bottom line, bro. This is a completely different program than when Nick Saban was there, and it's a whole.
I agree with you. It's a different program, but it's ran different. It's a different coach. It doesn't mean that we're any less dominant or anything like that. I agree. Do we need work defensively? Yes, we need work defensively. It seems like our physicality aspect. I'm not saying that Womack needs to be gone. I'm just saying that there needs to be some level of physicality that is preached to these guys. That's all I'm saying.
Was because he wanted somebody to help with in-state recruiting, and he was like, okay, Womack's doing really good. Where he was at, South Alabama? He's like, we're going to hire somebody to help.
I guarantee you Womack's the reason that Ryan Williams is there, and I'm saying the quiet part out loud. Nobody thinks about that. How much you want to bet that Womack is the reason that Ryan Williams is here, being from South Alabama? And yes, I would rather have Womack here to have Ryan Williams than any other defensive coordinator. Yes, I would.
That's the only reason that Ryan Williams is there. That's the only thing Womack can say was anything good that he's brought to the program.
Anyway, to our positive for the game, I thought the O-line did well. We still need to work on the pickup of blitzes.
Am I doing good with my Skip Bayless talk?
When Milroe was not pressured,
no, you're way better than he is.
When they were, okay, I'm speaking.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
shut up, Collin. Let him speak.
When Milroe was not pressured, he was 15 for 18 and 138 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But when he was pressured, he was 1 for 6 with 13 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So definitely on the blitz, Milroe needs to pick up pressure faster. Offensive line needs to identify the pressure faster and pick it up. I thought offense looked good the opening drive. It was very well put together. There was a good flow. It was a good time management. I love the shifts we were doing with our running backs, getting linebackers out into the flats early and getting passes into the soft spots of the zone. It just seems that for whatever reason, and I will agree with you on this, Collin, that Kane Womack's decision-making in the second half just seemed off. The play call in the first half was the first quarter, I'll say, was some of the best it's been all year. I mean, we went into more of a 4-3. We brought in Justin Jefferson into the game. We were blitzing. I mean, we were sending guys left and right. We were pressuring Lenora Sellers. And we saw what happened when Sellers went under pressure. I mean, we were flying to the ball. We were making tackles. I mean, we had a stop on 4th and 11 in the first quarter to end the second, or at the start of the second quarter. We stopped them on 4th and 11 and drove down and scored and made it 14-0. So definitely our defense first half was what it needed to be in the weeks prior leading up to this. It just seems that the last 97 seconds of the half,
that was embarrassing, dude.
We kind of crashed, and it was embarrassing. I don't understand. You go back to the 4th and 9 play. There was 1:43 left. And it was 4th and 9, and we had been pressuring all day. And for some odd reason, we decided to sit back and not pressure on 4th and 9. That's when you bring pressure, because if you don't, if you drop 7, eventually somebody's going to come open. And the receiver came open on a wheel route and scored. I don't know why we went cover 2 in trips. They ran a post wheel look, and the safety bit on a post, leaving the wheel wide open. But I don't understand why the pressure just slacked off in the second half. And that's some things that, that – go ahead.
I was like, it seems like he does that when – for some reason when the game gets closer, he decides to back off and play more. He's talked about bending and not breaking. It seems like he's almost not scared, but he's like, hey, let's make sure we drop more. And obviously I think in the SEC that's not really going to work. You need to put some pressure on them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When you're at South and these quarterbacks aren't as good and these coordinators aren't as good, it's easy to kind of, we'll just drop more and we'll pick them off, but it's just not like that.
Yeah.
So
I think we saw Milroe revert back to his old ways a little bit. He was rolling towards blitzes. He was making some not.
Think he kind of took a step back this week.
I don't know if it was more or less of just trying to be so good to compensate for the last week.
I was thinking he's putting it all on him and trying to single-handedly take it down. And I think you saw that when they got that safety. I think he was trying too hard.
Well, not only that, and I was just about to talk about that, is I know he was making some not so good throws, but he had some throws that were immaculate. I know in the second half we were driving. He hit Ryan Williams on a crossing route between 2 safeties that I don't think anybody else in the nation could probably throw. I mean, the 2 safeties were maybe 3 yards apart, and he hit it in that window.
Yeah.
And I understand everyone's pissed off about the safety that he got before halftime. I'm more concerned with the play call right there. You come out and you get a penalty on special teams that pushes you back to the 10-yard line, your own 10-yard line, and it's 1st and 10, and you're on your own 10. Why did we try to force Milroe into a pocket passer in that instance? I mean, we literally called 4 verts. If you go back and watch the play, they're lined up in trips on the left, and they run 4 verts. And I understand they didn't blitz anybody, but they did some stunts or something up front. O-line got confused, and there's nobody open because they dropped 7 into coverage on 4 verts to where Milroe had to try and do something, and he was just trying to get it away. I'm confused with the play call right there.
That goes back to the coaching.
What does that have to do with Kane Womack, you idiot?
That's the offensive coordinator. That's one instance I'm talking about.
And the head coach. Dude, it's week after week where we're seeing these small little blunders like that.
Okay, but do you realize that the game of football is based upon the little things? It's little mistakes that make the difference. Okay, I'm not putting on the coaches. Yeah. Listen at this. It's not just on the coaches, it's on execution. Jalen Milroe, if he doesn't overthrow Ryan Williams on the screen, we had 2 linemen out there. Ryan Williams probably scores, and we're up 21-7 at halftime. Let's see. He overthrew Ryan Williams on another deep route. I'm not throwing it on the coaches. I'm not blaming the players. I'm saying it's an execution thing that we're in the moment.
Tyler.
Yeah, but you got to think when you get put under pressure like that, you naturally go back to old habits like Milroe was doing.
Exactly.
You can see when you get put under pressure, we do that in life, dude. That's just how it is.
You don't. This takes time and effort, and you work on these little things in practice, and they correlate into the big things in the game. I didn't know if you knew that or not, since you didn't play through.
Okay.
So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Don't personally attack him because his back was fragile.
So
don't forget my ankle.
It was his ankle, Cole.
I don't understand. We should have ran Jam and Justice more. Jam Miller only had 12 carries for 42 yards, and Justice Haynes had 8 carries for 26 yards. I still think we got to get the running backs involved more. We got to get the running backs involved, get them out in space, out in their comfort zone. Defense, we created turnovers. I mean, we recovered 3 fumbles this game. I mean, we're creating turnovers. It's just little things like missing tackles, missed assignments. It's the small things.
South Carolina, statistically, had a superior game to Alabama in every single way besides turnovers. More passing yards, more rushing yards. They did better in the penalties. They controlled the time of possession a little bit more. The only statistic that Alabama had a better overall is the turnovers
and the scoreboard.
Yep. So to kind of add on to that, on the opening drive, South Carolina ate 8 minutes of clock off. They went 5 for 5 on third downs. We only had 60 yards of offense in the second half, so we definitely got to work on our second half execution. Got to work on tackling. We had 11 missed tackles. That's the most this season. We had 8 against Georgia, 9 against USF, and we had 4 against Wisconsin. It just seems that there's a lack of football IQ across all football players now. And I don't know if it's just – I don't know. It's weird.
The coaches are more dumb.
No, I'm not saying the coaches are dumb. I'm just saying that it just seems to be that there's a lack of football IQ. It's just Jeremy Bernard.
Do it, Tyler. Say it's the coach.
Jeremy Bernard, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not throwing the blame on 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. I'm not doing that. I mean, this is not the only thing that they have to focus on. Jeremy Bernard should have gone down inbounds on that quarter route that he scored on when we were up 20-19. He should have gone down because Shane Beamer had used all of his timeouts prior to the 2-minute drill. And if he would have gone down, we're down on the 5-yard line. I mean, we've got 4 downs to waste a minute and 10 o'clock. That's game over. It never would have came down to a 2-point play. It never would have came down to an onside kick, anything like that. So just logistical things that these kids need to realize. Hey,
dude, you got to think how when you're in a position to have to recover an onside kick,
it's hard.
You never want to have to do it until you have to. And when you do, it seems like things always go wrong every time.
Yeah.
So
especially Shane Beamer, who's known for preaching special teams to this kid. Beamer ball. I mean, they preach special teams.
That onside kick was beautiful, by the way.
It was perfect execution.
I was like, I had never seen one like that either. I was like, golly, I don't even blame him.
Yeah, perfect execution. Do you think that this game? I think it's almost a direct. I think it's almost a direct, not necessarily direct, but it is a result of NIL and transfer money getting moved around. And you see a lot more of these mid-tier SEC teams. They are gaining traction. I mean, what was his name? Denard Kennard had the game of his life. I mean, 8 tackles for loss, and he's a product of the transfer portals. I mean, I'm not saying that it is the sole reason why teams are getting better, but it does play into the factor of these kids have played elsewhere. They come in, and so you have teams like Georgia and Alabama who it's hard to gain depth on now because your 2 and your 3 players are going elsewhere because they're promised money, they're promised more playing time. And so I just think it's even in the playing field some.
Which is a weird way. It's not when we first talked about the NIL and stuff, I didn't think that would be something that would happen because of it, but I'm kind of glad because it makes it to where South Carolina can compete. It makes it to where Florida can compete. Now they're doing terrible, but It's basically where Tennessee is halfway decent. Like it makes it kind of even the playing field out, especially in the SEC, because the money's pretty much the same. So,
yeah, I agree. Moving on, that was our NCAA recap. And so, Pick'ems. Last week it was just me and Cole. We both tied for 4-2, so there is no punishment for that this week. This week's games, let's see. We have Alabama going up to Tennessee, LSU going to Arkansas, Auburn versus Missouri, and Georgia versus Texas. So, Cole, we'll start with you. Who do you think between Alabama at Tennessee?
It's at Tennessee.
At Tennessee.
I'm gonna stay faithful. I think from what we've watched, I think Kalen DeBoer and company will play to the opponent. I think we go into Tennessee and just win one possession, but I think we pull it out.
Ben.
Roll Tide, baby. I think it's going to be a tough game, though.
All right, Collin, let's hear this one, buddy.
If we come out the gates playing like we did against Georgia, we will blow Tennessee out. If we come out playing like we did these past 2 weeks, we will lose by at least 3 touchdowns.
I agree with that.
3's crazy.
But I'm still going to take Alabama just because, like, these last 2 games, it was right after we played Georgia, right before we played Tennessee. So if they can show up in another big game like this, I think we can win. So I'm still going to say Alabama. I haven't lost faith yet, but just know if we lose this week, I'm going to lose it next podcast.
You're going to shave your head?
I will not shave my head.
They don't believe anything you say because of that. So
hey, that's fine.
You gotta earn your trust back.
I genuinely, this game terrifies me as an Alabama fan.
Yes, it terrifies me in one instance, but no.
It's the crap you live for, man.
It's already a hard atmosphere to play in at Neyland Stadium, especially it's not a night game, but still it transitions to night now. I think that Florida kind of gave us a blueprint on how to contain Nico with bringing 5 guys in pressure every time. And I think that Nico, the freshman, is starting to come out of him, having to play SEC week in and week out. I don't think this Tennessee offense is as great as everybody's making it out to be. I don't think it's as high powered as it was 2 years ago with Jalen Hyatt and the quarterback Hendon Hooker.
I couldn't think of his name.
I don't think it's as high powered, and I think if we utilize that blueprint, I mean Tennessee was very fortunate to win the game. They should have lost the game. Florida had 12 men on the field. I think it was like on the last second field goal or whatever, and it took points off the board for Florida. Florida fumbled on their own 1-yard line, which took points again off the board. I mean, it really should have been a 2-possession game in Florida's favor. So Tennessee was very fortunate. I think that they've given us the keys on how to slow them down. I think Alabama's going to win the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we come out right pissed off from the last 2 weeks and play our game like we did the first half of Georgia.
Nothing would make me happier.
So LSU at Arkansas. What you think, Cole?
I have no idea. After watching Nussmeier and that defense, I think LSU takes it. I don't know if it's close or what, but my gut's telling me LSU, so we're going to go with that.
Ben?
I'm going to go LSU too.
Collin?
Give me the Hogs, man.
Yeah.
Arkansas at home, bro. LSU's going to stumble coming out of an overtime win. I think Arkansas finally coming off of a win against Tennessee, bro. This is going to be Arkansas's game to lose.
You think so?
Yeah, I genuinely do. If they lose, it's because they make stupid mistakes. But if they play a good game like they did last week, they're going to beat LSU.
I think they utilize the same blueprint on defense that they used to stop Dart to stop Taylon Green. Yes, it is an away game. Yes, they're riding a high of a big win over Ole Miss. But I think that I think it's going to be close, and I think LSU will pull it out just because Kyron Lacey has proven himself week in and week out. He's that dude. I mean, he's a dog. Nussmeier, although he's not super accurate, when he's accurate, it's accurate when it counts. And so I think that LSU gets it done this week.
Every single game that Arkansas has played this week or this year, besides the first one against God knows who it was a Pine Bluff somebody. It's been a one-possession game. They took Oklahoma State to double overtime, and then they lost on the road to Texas A&M, and then they lost to – who'd they lose to? Who was the other one? Oh, no, that was it. They lost to Oklahoma State and they lost to Texas A&M, and then they come out the gates and they beat Tennessee. So I genuinely think Arkansas is going to take this one by a pretty good bit if they play good.
Arkansas is also coming off of a bye week this week, so –
I think Arkansas is the truth this year. They're not as bad as everybody thinks they are.
Ben, who did you pick?
LSU.
All right, so Auburn versus Missouri. Battle of the Tigers here. Cole?
I don't even want to pick this game. I think this is stupid. I hate Auburn. Missouri has already burned me pretty good, but I don't think there's a world that I want to live in where I will pick Auburn in any situation. So give me Missouri by 1,000,000.
Okay. Ben?
I think Auburn looks awful. I'm going to pick Missouri.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I want to recant my statement about Peyton Thorne. He may not be that bad. I think Auburn sucks. He is not that bad, though. I've been looking at his stats and I actually watched him play. He is not the worst quarterback I've ever seen.
I think the play calling, and I think we were referring to it was the first episode.
Yeah.
I think that
loss was so bad.
I think the play calling puts him into bad decision making.
He's literally running for his life, and then when he does get it off, some bad just happens. So
play calling definitely doesn't cater to him when it counts. And also, I don't know why they don't feed Jarquez Hunter more. Every week, that's all you hear Hugh Freeze in his press conferences. Oh, we're going to feed Jarquez. Oh, we're going to feed Jarquez. Do it. Execute that. Feed him more. He needs the ball. He's your best player on offense.
If they do that, they may have a chance. But I'm still sticking with Missouri. I still like them.
Yeah,
Missouri.
I see them still about like Arkansas. Probably a little better, but
yeah. Collin.
Hugh Freeze has a special place within the next 3 years of going to a D3 school, if not a JUCO. Missouri is going to win. I don't understand how Hugh Freeze even got hired.
Hugh Freeze to the Jasper Vikings.
Yeah, I think that. Oh God, no. I think that. I think that Mizzou. It's a home game. Mizzou out the gate. I think that their run offense is better than Auburn's run defense. They got a couple of playmakers. Auburn's secondary is not the best that it's been, so I think Missouri's going to win this one. So the last one, Georgia versus Texas. Cole?
Well, I don't know. Let me think. I want to say Texas because they look head and shoulders better than everybody. But I'm feeling a little like some upset's going to happen. Let's go Georgia.
Nice.
I think Kirby's going to, it's going to be a fast-paced game to start it out, and I think Kirby's going to make the adjustments, and I think they can come out on top.
Ben?
I'm gonna go Texas.
Mm.
Are you writing these down, Tyler?
Yeah. Don't worry.
It's hard for me to pick Texas, dude.
I'm going Texas too. I think I really genuinely, if you look at the field right now, Texas is obviously the number one team.
I know.
Like, they're balling.
They are.
So until they prove themselves, bro, I think, and the spread on that game is Texas -4, and I think Texas is going to cover. I think they're going to handle them.
So you said Texas, right?
I think Georgia's still Georgia, bro.
And I think I'm going to give it to my boy. I think I'm going Georgia too, because the last time that they were underdogs was the season opener in 2021. Yeah. I think they were 3 underdogs. They covered and they beat them outright 10-3. So I think you're going to see. And I know there's some problems with their secondary, and this is going to be one of the greatest receiving cores that they see. But I think that you're going to see a Georgia defense that comes together and is flying around to the ball, and they're going to get after Quinn Ewers. They're going to get after whoever is back there slinging. So I think this is going to be the truest defense Texas may have seen yet to date, besides Michigan. But even Michigan's defense hasn't even proven anything to me this year. So I think this is going to be the true first test for Sark in Texas. So I'm going Georgia.
I think too. I wouldn't be surprised because Quinn Ewers kind of had a couple of mistakes this past game, but it was his first game back off of injury. And I've seen a bunch of people talking about how he was kind of messing up a little bit in Arch Manning. If Quinn Ewers comes out and struggles a little bit this game, I would not be surprised if they threw Arch in there.
Is it at Texas?
Yes,
it is at Texas.
It'll be a good one.
It's a hard place to play at. Hard place to play at.
Ben, let's hear it.
All right, Ben's Trivial Trivia. A little new segment.
I've got
show me some enthusiasm, man.
3 trivia questions. I'm try to keep it.
This is for the listeners. We try to throw in these fun little segments here to keep us lively and happy around these parts.
All right. So the first
after arguing with one another.
The first question that I've got is, which team holds the record for the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history?
Green Bay Packers.
Y'all say Packers?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah, maybe the Steelers. It's between those two, I think.
All right, Collin was right. It is tied between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots with 6 Super Bowl wins.
I thought the Patriots were up there.
Packers
I knew
have
the
4.
Steelers back in the day when they had that daggone the iron curtain or the steel curtain.
Yeah.
They went on a run back in the day.
The pass is an easy answer. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Question number 2, we've got, who was the first college player to ever win a Heisman Trophy twice?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I seen this not long ago. Actually, I can't remember who it was. It's not a quarterback, is it?
What position?
Or is it a quarterback?
No hints.
I don't think it's a quarterback.
Tyler,
can you give us a year at least?
Was it Baker Mayfield?
It was not.
No.
What? No. What's the name start with?
Oh no, it was
I want to say it was a running back.
Archie Griffin.
Who?
I got it.
Archie
Did you
Griffin.
look it up?
Yes, I looked it up. Don't nobody know that.
For some reason,
in 1975.
Cheated, bro. For some reason, I was gonna say O.J. Simpson. I don't know why.
I wanted to say Charles Woodson.
All right, the last one we've got. Which NFL team completed a perfect season, winning all 14 regular season games and 3 playoff games, including a Super Bowl?
I know this one, but I'll give y'all a chance first.
It's not the Pats, is it?
Kansas City.
No.
I have no idea, dude.
The Pats came close, but they lost in their Super Bowl when they almost completed it.
If I miss this one after being so confident, is it the Miami Dolphins?
It is.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I'm not, because the Miami Dolphins had the only perfect season ever.
What year?
No, I thought there was one more than that.
It wasn't Dan Marino, because Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. It was it wasn't in the 90s. Was it in the 90s?
No.
80s?
No.
72.
When was it?
72.
Okay, yeah, I was way off on the year. I knew it was back in the day, but yeah, that's the Dolphins for sure.
Don Shula.
Because that was before Marino. That was before all them.
The running back was Larry Zonka.
Oh, wow.
Boy's a demon, dude.
You remember him from Mutt, dude?
He had the greatest fullback card, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, dude. Madden Mobile, baby.
It was always when he was on the Chiefs, though. They never put him there when he was on the Dolphins.
I never remembered.
All right, boys, we're going to move into our NFL recap of the week.
I'm not looking forward to
this.
Can we say something about the Cowboys real quick?
Of course.
One, I think the Cowboys suck. They'll never win a Super Bowl. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're a loser.
Collin?
Oh, my God. That is aggressive.
I sent this text message. Somebody asked me the other day, they said that they had just seen the score to the Cowboys game, and they asked me how I felt. I will read this out loud, okay?
He said, "How are you doing?"
Aren't you a Cowboys fan?
I am. He said, "Collin, I just saw the score of America's team versus the Lions. Are you okay?" I said, "I don't know what to think anymore. We pay a quarterback $60 million to get his back blown out by the Detroit Lions. We refuse to sign Micah Parsons, arguably the best defensive player in the National Football League, to a contract extension. We've got Mike McCarthy, who's got the football IQ of Donald Duck. And every time Jerry Jones gets on TV, he's stuck in 1993 and has no idea what's going on the field."
Pretty accurate.
A couple episodes ago, I said that Jerry Jones should be fired or let go or move to the nearest nursing home in Dallas. Do you agree with me now?
I fought hard for Jerry Jones, but after seeing some of his – dude, he's so out of touch with what I feel like's going on, but wants to be involved so much, dude, that there's too much going on.
Did you see what he was saying? Like, it was a wake-up call?
I seen that.
Like the wake-up call? I know, like the last 4 playoff appearances weren't wake-up calls. Are you kidding me?
Bro, we haven't been in a Super Bowl since 1996, and Cowboys fans have been saying, "Oh, we're going to make it this year. This is our year," since 1996. At what point is enough enough?
It's literally almost 30 years, right?
Yeah, and we've been saying it year after year that we're just going to go back to the glory days. Troy Aikman and all them boys. No, we're not.
If I were you, I would switch teams.
I just think that Jared Goff is one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the league right now.
Since he's gotten traded and gotten to Detroit.
That was the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. Was going to the Lions with that offense.
It was the most perfect trade for both sides, I think.
Both sides.
Rams got them a Super Bowl, and they got their quarterback, and they're playing great now. Like, they led them to their first playoff appearance in God knows how long, or playoff win in how long.
You look at it by the numbers. Golf set the record when they played Seattle 2 weeks ago by going 18 of 18. It's an NFL single game record. Perfect. And they won that game 42-29. I would say that's pretty well established win. I mean, he's just consistent. Always playing on a consistent basis to where his completion rate is phenomenal every game because he's got weapons all over the offense. He's got Amon-Ra. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. I mean, he's just consistent. I don't think anybody else in the league has that type of consistency.
If I did have a second team besides the Cowboys, I genuinely think I would be a Lions fan. Just as much as that daggum franchise has been through, and then finally seeing them actually come through and be good, you can't help but root for them.
You bandwagon.
Yeah, okay, it's a bandwagon. Just because I like to see a franchise that hasn't done anything in so long actually be good at something.
Careful, Collin. Don't get mad.
It was like when you saw the Chicago Cubs a
Typical
couple years
Cowboys
later.
fan.
Series.
We don't watch baseball here.
He's abandoning ship.
We need to spin a wheel. We need to spin a wheel for Collin to pick his new team.
I feel like we've been picking on Collin tonight. I feel like we should slack off.
Nah,
bro, he's good.
My next closest team would probably be the Dolphins.
I'm on the side of like you pick who's closest. So I would pick the Falcons because like they're the closest.
I've always liked the Saints just because Drew Brees is my favorite NFL player of all time. I've always.
I do. I will. That is true.
All right, boys. Moving on to. Oh God, a slide too early, premature. All right.
I do want to see how. Did y'all see Aiden Hutchinson's injury?
Bad, dude. Bad. He's going to be out for about 6 weeks.
Ben, is that the same thing you did in high school?
No.
He broke his tibia.
No, he broke the big bone, I'm pretty sure.
The weight bearing one?
You go do your research before you get on one of the podcasts.
Who are you talking to?
I know that did not just come out of your mouth, Collin. I know. Yeah, after the NCAA segment, I know for a fact that did not just come out of your mouth.
He's trolling.
Oh, I got research. ESPN is pulled up.
Oh my God! Wow. Anyway, let's move on.
Most people that come prepared do the research before the podcast starts, not during it.
Tell me what it says, Collin.
What'd you say, Ben?
What does it say?
What does what say?
Tell me what it says.
What is he talking about?
Your research.
Your research.
Tell me what it says.
Did you know that Aiden Hutchinson got hurt?
Yes, Collin.
Oh my!
What do you think we're talking about then, you goon?
Who said he was out for 6 weeks?
I said that. He is out 4 to 6 weeks. It is confirmed. He had surgery today.
Go ahead, Ben. Speak.
Come on, Ben.
The Commanders and Ravens.
Yes, Commanders and Ravens. This is our second game of the week. Both teams are now 4-2. The Ravens coming off a win over them 30-23. Collin, what's your thoughts on this, my buddy?
How did I pick the Commanders last week to win?
Yes.
I thought I did. Jaden Daniels still looks so good, dude. I was looking at it
he has thoroughly impressed me in a weird way.
Commanders, I was telling y'all, dude, the Commanders are the truth. I knew they were going to keep it closed.
He's solid. In
a weird way, like they keep comparing him to Lamar, but I think they're totally different.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
don't know if it's their style.
Like I really do feel like Jaden Daniels would throw for 200, 300 yards on me. I don't feel like that with Lamar. That's just me. I don't know if I'm tripping or if I have some recency bias going on or what. But
I think that Lamar's passing game has grown so much. I mean, because he did pass for over 300 yards this game.
Yeah.
I think his passing game has evolved, but I think his passing game is allowed to evolve when you have a truck like Derrick Henry in your backfield. I mean, dude has been bulldozing people for 8 years in the league now. I mean, 24 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Have a freaking day, Derrick Henry, because that's insane.
And you've seen it at the end of the game, too. They put the ball in his hands, dude, and he iced the game. Does it every week in, week out, dude.
Knowing that you can, at any given point, you can go turn around and hand the ball to him, and you also got a quarterback that can run a 4 whatever.
It's a two-headed snake in the backfield, man. I mean, they can do so. That opens up your offensive playbook, and now it seems like Zay Flowers is kind of coming into the role of number 1 receiver after this game. I mean,
if they can get him the ball, he'll be good.
Their offense is opening up to. I mean, it's going to be a high-powered offense that teams are going to have trouble stopping in the future. Derrick Henry, he leads the NFL in touchdowns by running backs, and I think he leads overall with 9 touchdowns. He has 700. Right. He has 704 yards rushing, which is also first place in running backs.
You know who was leading up until that point?
I do not.
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
600 was like 689, I think, or something.
Nice.
But because Kyle Shanahan is a dirty, rotten liar, he didn't play this game. So
nice.
Sorry.
I want a quick note on the Commanders. They are 9 for 9 this year on fourth downs. I don't know if y'all saw that fourth down play where Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, scored, but they are 9 for 9 on fourth down conversions this year, which is pretty good. I definitely think that their offense is missing B-Rob right now. It seems like their running game really couldn't get going. Jaden Daniels is the leading rusher, I believe. Yeah, 6 carries for 22 yards, and then Austin Eckler had 9 carries for 21 yards. So,
I've always thought that Terry McLaurin was one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league, and it finally seems like he's starting to get really comfortable with Jaden Daniels these past couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Live look at the Bills versus Jets. Anybody got that score up?
I had it pulled up earlier, but I clicked off of it.
Oh my goodness, it's actually a decent game. It's 20-20 right now with 4:20 left in the fourth quarter. So we will try to hurry up the rest of this establishment to go finish that. Let's see.
What was the pick'ems last week on that game?
I think me and you picked the Bills. Colin.
Y'all picked the Bills, and me and Cole picked the Jets.
And right now, the Buffalo Bills are on the Jets' 7-yard line, and it is currently 4th and goal.
Yep, they just threw a pass to Matt Collins.
So if they score right here, does A-Rod have another game-winning drive?
They're kicking a field goal.
Are they?
How do y'all feel about Aaron Rodgers getting Robert Saleh fired?
Don't know.
That has been like everybody is talking about how he's the reason that Robert Saleh got fired. I don't think
hear what they said. They said they said that they gave him within 30 minutes. He was escorted out of the facility, given no heads up, and just taken out within 30 minutes.
Holy crap. I think some of the stuff came out, and I believe that him and the owner were getting into it a little bit. I don't think they saw eye to eye on a whole lot. What happened to Coleman?
He's coming back. All right. Colin, you got your best bets?
I do. I've got some good ones this week. The first one, it might surprise a little bit of people. I have Louisville money line against number 6 Miami. You can get Louisville right now for plus 160 at home against Miami. Dude, Louisville is one of those sleeper teams. They've played really, really good games these past couple weeks. And Miami, for whatever reason, they have struggled against conference opponents. And I think Louisville finally hands Miami their first loss. Secondly, we've got Army at home going up against East Carolina. The spread right now is minus 15.5, and I think that Army will easily cover that the way that their offense has been going and the way that they've been really, really playing really good. So I think Army's going to win. Cole, did you hear my very first pick 'em?
No, it was lagging out, and then I was pulling up this game. The Bills went to
How do you feel about my first one? I was going Louisville against Miami at home. Louisville looks good.
That's a hard one though, because Cam Ward
he's really, really good. But I don't know for whatever reason, that whole team as a whole has struggled against conference opponents, bro.
I don't know if Louisville can stop him.
I hadn't watched enough Louisville to be able to tell you.
They've looked really, really good. They've only had a couple of close losses, and I think they beat Georgia Tech. Like they're a sleeper in the ACC. Moving on to NFL, I've got 2 underdogs. This
Bills
is kind
just
of
made a field
weird. I've got the Saints plus 2 at home versus the Broncos. I don't think Derek Carr's playing. I think they've still got Spencer Rattler. That's kind of up in the air. But the Saints defense, I think, is going to give Bo Nix fits. So I think the Saints are going to cover, if not just win flat out. And then lastly, I've got the Lions plus 2.5 on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. You cannot convince me to bet. If the Vikings are an underdog at any point this season, I think I'm going to continue to take them.
Yeah, I feel like you have to.
So those are going to be my best bets this week.
So you're going with the Vikings at home?
I'm going with the Lions on the road. Lions plus 2.5. It will be interesting to see, though, if they can stop the Vikings offense without Aiden Hutchinson. So I'm kind of worried about that, but I still think the Lions are too much to handle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They still got one of the best defenses even without him. But I do think they're going to hurt without him, an edge rusher, on getting pressure. But good thing they got a good secondary, you know. So,
Brian Branch been showing up, boy.
Yeah. All right, Cole, time for your fantasy fanatics of the week. Fantasy standouts for the week brought to you by Mr. Cole Bonner.
Let's hear it, Coleman.
Can y'all hear me at all?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Y'all sound like robots, dude.
Can y'all hear Cole?
Yeah.
They didn't want to play along. Go ahead, Cole.
Let's hear it, buddy.
Cole, get your computer out of the microwave, bro. Come on.
Are you having some technical difficulties? Do we need to come back?
Yeah, I can't hear anything. Collin sounds like he's in a microwave.
We can hear you. So
go ahead with your picks.
Okay, well,
if y'all can hear me,
if y'all can hear me, I'm just gonna go with number 1, Chris Godwin with a 40 bomb. Is freaking ridiculous. I really do think him being in the slot solidifies himself as being the number 1. I know Mike Evans is there. I know that he's the dog. He's had 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons, whatever it is. But I think Chris Godwin is their guy. So be looking out for him going forward.
Nice. Shout out my boy Chris God.
And
Chris Godwin is on Tyler's fantasy team. For those wondering.
My loser is Dak with -1. Again, the Cowboys are trash. They signed the wrong guy. Pack him up. Send him to the Birmingham Stallions. That's where he belongs anyway.
Put him in a body bag. Nice. Those are great. Those are great, Cole. I love it.
Was that it?
I'm doing the best I can. The technical difficulties are getting me. That's all I got.
Yeah. Sorry to the viewers on the technical difficulties, but that is.
And I can hear you now.
All
I think
of
it was
our content.
I think it was that graph that was up, dude.
Is it your 2001 Mac that was having a fire back up? You know, all the jet engines were.
My 2001 Mac is a 2020. Thank you. So you need to watch your mouth, son.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
Aren't you on your wife's computer?
I can't. Yeah, you're right. I can't even afford a laptop.
Dell Intel Core or something.
Hey, me too, brother. HP all the way.
Gateway gang.
Man, we'll be official one day. We'll have mics.
Hey.
Ben looks like he's on a Nokia.
He is. He's on a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the content that we have for y'all today. We
Aaron.
thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope that we have more than maybe 5 listeners next week.
Aaron,
we will try to be more cordial next week. Things got heated this week on this episode because we're passionate about football, but thank y'all for listening.
What?